Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week is Eli.
Hello, I am here.
And Mike.
Eli, that was so awkward. It was like one of those keyboard type talk to text things.
Apparently you're Microsoft Sam, Eli. How do you feel about that?
I don't know.
Oh no, I spelled something wrong. And I was pressing, and that was all the letters instead.
Oh man. Alright, so I guess we'll talk about what we've been playing this week. It's been, I think, 2 weeks or whatever since we actually said what we were playing. I forget, but I ended up beating Star Fox Guard. It gets pretty crazy at the end. You fight like a demon monkey, like a demonic skull at the end, which is really weird and out of place. But it was fun. Definitely worth the $20. The only thing is, you will never get to level 50. And I say that because after you beat the game, you get to about level 30 or so, and you've basically unlocked like all of the different different weapon types and whatnot. But if you want to unlock all the other secret missions, basically you have to level yourself up. And just about each level gives you a new mission. But the only way to do that is, I don't think you can go back and replay old missions and still get experience. I don't really remember. I don't think I actually went back and tried that. But there is an online component, so people make their own levels, host them, and then you can play them and get experience from that. Well, I don't think many people bought the game because a lot of the levels I encountered were all the enemies are going to come in at this one camera and then you just shoot them all down. Clearly just a farming factory, I guess, to try to get you a lot of experience or just beat the level quickly. It does not give you a lot of experience, and it's not fun, so it's not really worth the time. And then there's a couple there that can get really crazy, but they so far seem to be few and far between. So I've pretty much given up the game after beating it, because I'm not going to go back and replay levels I've already beaten. It's not really fun. So yeah, don't expect to play any more than the main missions and some secret missions you unlock on the way. You're probably going to miss like a third of the secret missions because you won't be able to get enough experience points. Or, unless you want to waste like 100 hours, because the experience you're going to get is going to be so minimal, it would take forever. But yeah, that's that's all I've been playing, just finishing that. I might get Human Resource Machine that Uno Clay brought up on the end of the podcast last week. It's like a programming type of game from the guys who did World of Goo and Little Inferno. So I might get that, but that's pretty much it from me. Eli, what have you been up to?
Because of the busyness of the election and stuff, I don't really think I've been playing very much stuff. Let me think real quick. Yeah.
Mike, I hear you playing Ace Attorney.
What? No.
I hear you playing Ace Attorney. I hear those sound effects, the text scrolling dialogue.
My God, Mike,
Don't think you
here
can
I am
hide
talking
from
about
these
all the
guys.
games I didn't play, and you're just like, completely disrespecting my lack of gaming.
By playing a said Nintendo game while I... wait, I wasn't playing it, first off.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I remember, there's one game I've played a little bit of. I played a little bit of Doom.
Okay.
The new one that launched this year. I got it on sale or something, and I'm only like 3 hours in, and it's apparently a pretty long shooter. Apparently I've been here like 9 to 12 hours, which I think is pretty good for a shooting game. So I may be like 30% in or whatever, but it's pretty fun so far. I don't think it's that hard. Like, the difficulty modes make it sound like the game's difficult, but it's really not that bad. At least from what I've played so far. And I'm just on a normal difficulty, but still, it was named something like Nightmare or something like that.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't really remember. I haven't really played, I don't think, anything in like the last week. I've just been also a little bit more of Forza Horizon 3, still quite the excellent game. I beat it. And yeah.
Cool. Mike, what are you currently playing now that we know you're playing? Or which attorney game?
So I'm playing some EW number 6, Spirit of Justice. The newest one. So I was like, I did want to play it in September, but I was like, F it, I want to play it now. So I got Phoenix Wright going. I bought Dragon Quest Builders on my Vita after I finished Severed and whatever the other one is. Got my platinums. That game Severed is dark as hell. So
It's really good though, isn't it?
yeah, it was cool playing RPG Fruit Ninja, but it was good though. Like some of the puzzles, you had to think. Like it wasn't easy getting like 100%. Like I was like, we're gonna go back to this. I gotta like actually use my brain, but not really that much. But it was really, I did enjoy it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, so like I also picked up World of Final Fantasy, so I have my 2 Vita games. I realized no wonder why I hate Minecraft. I can't build. I suck at that.
I was
Like
gonna say, why did you get Builders? Do you like Minecraft?
no, I
'Cause
don't. I mean, I played it. I played the demo when I was at Comic-Con before it came out. I was like, yeah, this is pretty fun. Because I was like, I don't have to build things. And I realized to get like a lot of the stuff done and to get like 100%, you have to build things. I can't build. Like it's so hard. Like I can never build in Little Big Planet. I hated that element anyway. I only like the levels that were pre-made and all that other stuff. And then this game, when I do I'm really good at the RPG fighting quests. I'm really good at those. All right, when you have to fight the monsters and shit. But then they ask him to build like a house. I can't do it. I just can't. It's so hard. I have no artistic vision. I literally can't do it. I get mad. I go, F this. This is stupid. I'm pretty sure this is a building. And they're like, nah, bro, that shit's whack. And if I do build one, they're like, yo, here's like 2 points. I'll spit on the floor. I'm like, bro. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it's like. I freaking, it's impossible. I don't know how anyone enjoys Minecraft. It sucks. But I do think the game is pretty fun, and if I just wasn't so bad at that part or had any idea how to do any art, I wouldn't be that bad of a game. I didn't touch World of Final Fantasy. I did play Xenoverse and all these games that already came out before. They came out when I was at Comic-Con, so it's too late. I mean, the coolest thing I did before that was I played the Resident Evil game with PlayStation VR.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, I played that. The game's kind of scary. I actually was scared, alright? Like, I was super scared. Like, I can't stress the fact that I was actually scared. And Billy was so scared, he stopped playing the demo halfway like a bitch. Like, there's 2 demos. Like, you get to try out the PSVR. One of them, you're tied. You're tied to a chair. And then, you watch this weird zombie lady thing kill some guy and then kill you. And the other one is like you gotta run away from this weird old lady, scary lady and shit. And, it was scary. I'll tell you that. It was pretty scary. But, yeah, freaking, I'm not impressed by VR. I was not impressed by Sony's VR. It reminded me of like a little bit more HD Oculus, which I still think VR is bullshit because it's just the screen is closer to me. Yeah, it's cooler. I can look around and all that. I only get dizzy when I look at my bottom left or bottom right. Like if I'm tipping my neck downwards and then I roll my eyeballs, like I'm trying to use my peripherals, I get kind of like motion sickness. But other than that, I really don't think VR is that cool and worth it. Like I'm like, wow, I can look around everywhere, but maybe it's better for horror games. You know what I mean? Like it like isolates you and encapsulates you in like a certain setting. But at the same time, like I think the coolest thing VR I saw was this John Wick 2 thing with the ATCVs and how you could move around on this whole floor. Like he had the whole thing going. Like it was really cool. Like he had like 2 separate controllers. He picked them up, put his arms together, it became a sniper rifle and all that other stuff. I was like, wow, that's cool VR shit. Like you're moving around, you have freedom, not like this bullshit PlayStation VR and other stuff. Like Vive is probably the best VR I've seen, and that was like the coolest. Like it was kind of like they had to isolate the area, like it was closed off by like whatever those ropes are or whatever, because they need all that space to play that VR game, which is really cool. And like they're ducking, jumping around, playing with their two controllers and stuff. But I don't know. I just like I wouldn't buy VR like a PSVR like, and I maybe the only point of it is, right now is Resident Evil to me, because every other thing doesn't seem too impressive, and I'd rather just. I don't know. I did get a little sick, but it's cool. But it's a luxury. That's what it really is. That's what I came to the conclusion to.
Yeah, at that price, you're not.
I'm
It's
not
a luxury.
waiting for Pokemon. That's about it.
So it looks like we finally found Mike's vice. The one thing he can't do gaming related is build.
F that.
Harder than your Final Fantasy 13 platinums or whatever. Beat the 13 million health boss.
Those are terrible. But yo, I mean, the only building game I was mediocre at was Banjo-Kazooie, and I wasn't good at that at all. All right. Like, I would just kind of, like, throw every upgraded weapon thing on, like, a base car build that they would give to you. And I'm like, alright, look how good I am. I used this car, I pre-built it, I just added shit to it. Which is the same thing I did in Kingdom Hearts. It's like, yo, I found these secret blueprints. I'm like, okay, cool. And we had 8 more guns to it. Yeah, I built that ship. Whatever. You know, no big deal. So, yeah, I've never been able to build nor draw in all my life.
So, Mike, you weren't here last week. Quick thoughts on the Switch reveal.
Pretty effing awesome. I called new Mario Kart the second I saw it, and then everyone's like a day later like, is that King Boo in 2 items? And everyone's like, it's just probably Mario Kart 8 updated. I was like, bitch, it's gotta be not Mario Kart 8, because Mario Kart 8 is trash. Alright, that game is butt ass. Alright? So, hopefully it'll be good. It didn't look like you could hover items, which is still kinda lame. Alright, so Nintendo, like, Mario Kart 8 sucks, so stop trying to take stuff from it. Other than that, I think the Switch looks really cool. I think, I like the way the quote Pro controller looks. I mean, yeah, it looks like a generic GameCube meets Xbox 360 controller. That's good anyway for the mass media and the FPS people that Nintendo praise they'll get, but probably never will. But let's pray they do. The screen looks kind of awesome. I didn't like. There was 3 controller settings. I can't remember. It's
Yeah,
you have the square controller, right? Then you have like the 2 fake nunchuck ones. Then you have the sideways version of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, they didn't really show someone carrying a Pro controller on the side and seeing how it is. It should hypothetically be the same. So I don't know. It doesn't seem you should be forced to play with the little side. I'm gonna call them side piece 1 and 2 because I can't really think of a name. I don't want to call them Switch or nunchucks, you know, because every mom will be like, I need another Wii, like a Wii U, you know.
Yeah.
So, that new Mario looks amazing. Super Mario 64 Fiesta, I call it.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks honestly like that. That kind of made the whole trailer for me. I would like, now that you can use a controller for Splatoon, it looks pretty cool. I'd like to get into it by the Switch, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it is a second one or some sort of updated like version. But to be honest, I don't care. Like, if Mario 64 Fiesta hypothetically came out when the Switch came out, the game would do fantastic. Looks like Breath of the Wild will come out with it. But honestly, if they could push 2 first-party games they come out with it would, in my opinion, would make sales even better, because Breath of the Wild, it's still kind of associated with Wii U in my eyes, you know what I mean? Like, I still think of the new Legend of Zelda, and I still think it's coming to Wii U as well as the Switch. If they can make, like, say, the new Splatoon ready by the time Switch comes out, that'd be 2 big games that people would like to play and, like, you know, build more on. It looks like Nintendo wants to build more, like, esports-wise, but that, so why not get it out early with your new system? And that's the audience you're trying to get now, too.
Yeah, exactly. I thought of a new name for the Mario game, Mario D'Amigo. Crazy blocked monkey.
You reminded me of my long to play list, but Paper Mario is probably the next game I'm gonna play. It's like the very next game I have on. You know what I mean? Have me sights on. So
interesting. Well, we'll see how you like that.
Probably not, but I mean, at least there's good writing compared to
that's pretty much like the one thing it has.
Yeah. So that means it'll be 1,000 times more entertaining than Sticker Star, which had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Lifeless husk.
Yeah, it was like, look, that's Paper Mario. Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, so moving on to news. There's not a whole lot, and we're back to the rumor mill now until they revealed the Switch again on the 12th. At least we have a date. I know we mentioned it at the end of the last podcast, but might as well say it again. At least we have a date that's good. Only about 2 months until we have to hear actual news. But one of the interesting things came up this week, and Unoclea and I sort of talked about it, but I wasn't really too sure. So there's a rumor that you can increase the amount of space on the system with an SD card, and apparently it can go up to 128 gigabytes, which is insane and also not enough. Insane because it would cost a lot to buy one, and not enough because it's not enough
Actually,
space.
it's not as much as you'd think. You can get
Really?
128 gigabyte SD cards for about $40. So it's not terrible.
Oh, I thought they were still like...
They're getting cheaper, and on Newegg, like, it depends on which brand. They're like 35. I anticipate these prices will probably even go down from that. The SD cards are just getting cheaper and cheaper. It's not terrible.
Oh. Alright. I thought it was still, like, expensive, but still. That brings up the...
But, no, I mean, the important thing isn't necessarily how expensive, but just, I mean, that's not enough space. If you've got, games on the PS4 and Xbox One are, 50 gigabyte games, and even on the Wii U, games are reaching 20 to 30 gigabytes. Xenoblade, I think, was 28 gigabytes on disc and then 12 gigabytes in patches or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's concerning. If I get a 64 gigabyte thing, which I'm guessing would be standard, those are $20. Like, I'm gonna fit like 2 games on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is for if you want to, I guess, increase the amount of memory, like onboard storage or whatever you want to call it. You just stick it in and you can download games to it. But the other storage problem was the actual game carts. So we were talking about current games. They're at least 50 gigabytes for some games, and then I think I heard if you install them, it unzips or it extracts more. So I don't have any of the new systems, so can you elaborate on like how big some of these games have gotten?
Oh, sorry. Can you? I zoned out.
Oh, I was saying some games are like 50 gigabytes now, but I've heard that like when you have to install them to the hard drive because they force you to, it like increases that amount even more.
I don't
Is that true?
think so.
Well, no, patches.
I think that's mainly just for loading times to be quicker.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like when you get a patch, it's still like it still takes memory and all that. Which you're like, oh yeah, just another jerk patch, but it's actually eating away. It's like when you get something, it's 32 gigabytes, but it's not. It's actually around I'd say 25 because of OS and all that. It's probably roughly around the same thing. I mean, I was gonna ask how do they get HD into a cartridge now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I was thinking.
Well, it's the same. It's the same
It's
memory.
just space.
In theory, the loading times are going to be quicker too.
Yeah.
Which would be.
Wait, that means we're never gonna have to buy another save card. It's like the N64 days, man. That's it. And the 3DS save files are gonna be in the cartridge.
Well, we don't know. I mean, it could be on the system memory, which is I think 32 gigs from the rumors. So yeah, I don't know. The cards, it sounds like they're upgradable though. Company will probably be able to pay, $5 more to get a card that's 32 or 64 gigs instead of 16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well I'll tell you one thing. As long as Nintendo does not follow the idea of a Vita memory card, they'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Not that again. So theoretically, most games should be able to fit on like the 64 gig card.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
the other thing we don't know about is like the one thing I've been hearing is that Nintendo is just really good at compressing data, and that on the PS4 and Xbox One, it's not so much that the games are just that much bigger, but that publishers have kind of gotten lazier at compressing the data, which is possible. I mean, we don't really know. And what that would mean is that like you look at Wii U games, and 3D World, I think, is like a 7 GB game.
Yeah.
And that's, full HD. I think, I forgot what the download size is for Mario Kart, but that's much lower than 50 gigabytes too. So even though these are full HD games, they take up less memory. So one of the things that's speculating is that Nintendo just has a really good compression system that might be able to minimize the size of these games.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking because you said other people have gotten lazy. Maybe that means that kind of worries me. That feels like we're gonna get probably more third party, second party stuff is just gonna be downloadable only, which is not too scary because I mean that's the way things have become now anyway. But you know what I mean? Like it just seems more likely now that'll happen. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, just say Street Fighter Five. It's like, Capcom doesn't compress any data anymore. I think they do fine. Nothing's not that big. But it's like, all right, well, they're not gonna spend the extra time to develop it into a cartridge, maybe without Nintendo publishing money, so they could just release it digitally. You know?
I don't know. Well, I don't think that there's any difference storing data on a cartridge as opposed to a disc.
No.
I don't think that it's any harder or anything. The format's going to be different, but that just comes from the console, not from the SD card itself, because I don't see why it would need to be a different system, especially, you've got hard drives working simultaneous. I mean, on the Wii U, you can have an SD card, and you can have games on an SD card or a hard drive, so I don't see why that would be different.
All right.
Yeah. So that's good because that was my concern. Like, oh man, if they're just compressing it, and they have to unload or install more or whatever, like, will these games even fit on the cards? But it seems like they will for the most part. The only thing is the Call of Duty example where they're bundling in two games and it's like 130 gigabytes or something nuts.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, so I have two frames of mind. On the first one, I am terrified, like you are. Not enough memory, not enough strength. Not enough RAM, not enough this or that. But then on the other hand, I'm like, okay, Nintendo keeps saying that they've learned from their mistakes, and if they have, then they have to. They've got to have solutions for all this, and maybe they don't. Maybe they really haven't learned from their mistakes. But yeah, you'd hope that they have. So
yeah.
we'll see. You want to talk about RAM next?
Sure. Yeah, you wanted to talk about RAM or rant about power or something?
Yeah, no, I mean, Emily Rogers said that she can confirm that the Switch will have 4 gigabytes of RAM. 3 gigabytes of that will be for games, 1 for OS. And obviously this is a rumor, but Emily Rogers has been pretty on point in terms of rumors up until now. Everything's been right so far, virtually everything.
And even if you want to discount her stuff before, like the stuff on the Switch has been basically all right and proven for the most part. So, I mean, there would be no reason to doubt that part at least. But yeah, go on.
So assuming that's right, I got annoyed at this news because for some reason when people talk about console power, the first thing they're drawn to is RAM. They don't look at the graphics card or the processor or anything like that. They look at the RAM. So that's kind of what was used as a comparison. Now Microsoft's trying to use teraflops as their big term, 6 teraflops. But before that, it was always, the RAM.
Yeah. It's the easiest one to compare.
Yeah, easiest one to compare, the first thing that will come to your mind.
Yeah.
So if the Switch is 4 gigs of RAM as opposed to 8, that's just annoying to me because if you look online and you look up a 4 gigabyte RAM stick or an 8 gigabyte RAM stick, the difference is literally $15. So if Nintendo were to include, an 8 gig stick in its console instead of 4, that would do two things. Number one, it would just make the console more powerful. And number two, it would have that point of comparison, and it would be able to say, well, PS4, Xbox One, 8 gigs, we're at 8 gigs too. And it would also kind of help future-proof the console in terms of, like, right now not all games are using all the RAM on the PS4 and Xbox One, but in a year or two, they're only going to get better. So, I was just annoyed learning about this because for me, I feel like the extra $15 Nintendo would lose per console on this wouldn't warrant the fact of downgrading, in that it would have helped them more marketing-wise and just future-proofing-wise had they upgraded to 8 gigs instead of 4. I mean, RAM is cheaper, and it's only going to get cheaper. So I don't understand why they went with that move.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is there's probably a difference between like RAM you usually put into your desktop and something for like this handheld device. So I don't know if $15 is like an accurate reading, just because you probably have to have like a different style of RAM that's a different size and blah blah blah. But yeah, like you said, it gets cheaper. I'm sure it's not. I might be putting my foot in my mouth, but I doubt it's that much more to put it like a couple more gigs of RAM in the thing, especially when like all this other technology is so old already. Like I'm sure your tablet devices and all these other things already have like plenty of RAM in it, so probably wouldn't cost much, like you said. But I mean, who knows the exact um, amount and how that all works. Um, yeah. Hopefully, most games don't use like more than 3 gigs, but because I'm wondering how much of those 8 gigs, like let's say the PS4 actually uses and for what.
I
So
think
I'm
from what I think the PS4 is 5 gigs for games, 3 gigs for OS.
okay because I was gonna say a lot of it probably has to be for the operating system, just because they have the like video sharing capabilities where it's like rendering the game in the background and all this stuff. So I'm sure like a
Yeah.
couple of it goes to that at least.
Well, that's why 3 gigs out of 8 go to that. But that
Yeah.
that brings in other concerns, right? So the Switch only has 1 gig going to its OS.
Yeah.
The PS4 is 3 gigs. The PS4 can multitask. The PS4 is voice chat. The PS4 you can access the store while on a game. The PS4 is all these things. The Wii U has 1 gig dedicated to System OS.
Yeah.
And the Switch is not getting an upgrade from that. It's the same amount for OS. Does that mean once again we're not going to have any voice chat? We're not going to have any of these background processes running. We're not going to have any of this going on. I mean, that's really scary and unnerving to me. And another one of my concerns.
Um, yeah, I don't know, because I remember hearing rumors that Nintendo really wanted to streamline their OS and make it really fast. So maybe it was just that with the Wii U, it was their first time like making an operating system, and it just really sucked. But over the years, they've been able to like streamline it and uh, make it a lot better that it can like work well on 1 gigabyte. Like that'd be my only, I don't know,
Yeah, I
reaction
don't know.
to
And of
that.
course, you have something like voice chat, which really shouldn't be that big of a power drive. But I don't
No.
know I mean, the Wii U doesn't have it, and so you have to ask: is it's not on the Wii U because of hardware limitations, or just because Nintendo's against voice chat?
I think it's the
Uh,
latter.
the PS3 didn't have voice chat, and they said they wanted to have it, but they couldn't because the system wasn't made to handle cross game chat. So it's just so many questions.
Yeah.
I wrote an article last week saying that I support Nintendo's decision to wait until January. I think it's good. I think any announcements they make now will be drowned in of the election and just a holiday clusterfuck of advertising. So I agree.
Yeah.
But it sucks for these 3 months where we have all these questions running through our heads that are unanswered.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with 1 gigabyte of RAM, there probably isn't going to be a lot of. I don't even know how video sharing would work, because all the other games on the Wii U, it's a replay. So when the game, when your game finishes, you tell it to save it, and then it will save it. But uh, if it's I can't see it working like the PS4, where it's like you press the share button and it saved the last 5 minutes when it's like 1 gig. So I wonder how that's really gonna work if that other button is supposedly a share button, which, given those journalists all other information, it most likely is. I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure Emily Rogers will have other information to leak too before January,
Yeah.
which will be nice for those of us that are really in the weeds and pay attention to that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Apparently Nintendo wants to get into esports. It's not really a long topic, but I thought it was interesting. a rumor from one of the journalists or whatever. I wouldn't say it's that much of a surprise because they already have like Smash Brothers and Pokken and Splatoon in there, but it also kind of goes with this rumor because they showed it off in their promo video, like Splatoon on a stage and like an esports arena or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get their foot in the door more with esports.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I'm always curious because it's definitely a growing field. It's one of those things that's really going to take off and has been growing at a rate that is, virtually, virtually exponential. So, yeah, definitely agree.
And then one other thing, because there wasn't a lot of news that I found. Apparently, the Pokemon Company is still interested in making remakes. Are you guys interested in any more remakes of older games?
I presume the Switch will probably have a Pokemon Diamond remake. I mean, you've gotta assume that's the next step, right?
Yeah.
True.
And obviously Pearl, but who likes Pokemon Pearl? Pokemon Diamond's where it's at.
I got Pearl. I don't even
Yeah.
remember the difference. Besides the like cover, legendary.
You're totally one of those people that got Pokemon Pearl.
Is there a problem with that? Diamond sounds better though. It also reminds me of that bootleg game that was called Pokemon Diamond, but it was some weird random other game where you're like catching monsters in a cell phone and you call them up in battle and there's like swearing in it and all this stuff. If anyone remembers that.
Oh wait, bootleg Pokemon Diamond game?
Yeah, it came out like several years before an actual Diamond, before it was actually a thing. And it was just like someone, not really localized it, but I don't know, they made like an English version of this random game and then they just called it Pokemon like
No, I
Diamond.
didn't know that. No,
Yeah, and it was this
I don't
weird
remember
game.
that.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. It's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think I care much more about the remakes. Like, I liked Ruby and Sapphire, and like I was fine with them making a remake of that, but I didn't think it was necessary because you could always trade the GBA games upwards to the DS and now 3DS, so I didn't think it was really necessary. The first two obviously had a different barrier where you couldn't actually trade them up properly, but now that that's fulfilled, it's like all these other remakes just seem pointless. It's like, yeah, I can already play like literally every generation of Pokemon on the DS. I don't need another remake. Like, I don't know, it's weird. You get past the point where where like a game is a classic. Like obviously each Pokemon game, it's gonna be someone's first Pokemon game. But when you're remaking like the fourth or fifth entry in a series, it's like, what are you really doing anymore? Like, there's not a point. It's not like Super Mario 64 where it was the fourth entry and like that drastically changed things up. And seeing that, remade would do something for it, whereas Pokemon is mostly the same, so it's just weird. It's like, here's another remake of the game that no one really cares for anyway. I don't know.
Hmm.
This comes off weird to me.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think, especially when you are moving past those means, like Switch isn't backwards compatible. You can play Pokemon Diamond on your 3DS right now, but you won't be able to do it on your Switch. It won't be digitally available, until we have a unified digital platform.
Well, I mean, like with the
I don't
future
mind.
games, you have the was it Pokemon whatever the cloud service. So
No, yeah, but
basically,
Oh
if you
yeah,
want to play
the Pokemon
Pokemon
the
Bank.
bank.
yeah.
But like the problem is, if you want to catch the Pokemon Diamond, Pokemon in that game already now is God, that game's like 10 years old already.
Yeah.
Even older than that. So that game's already 10 years old. I played that game when I was like 9 or 10 years old. And if you're a Pokemon fan that's 13, you never played that game, and you're gonna be picking up the Switch, filling out your Pokedex, and you got all these Pokemon you can't get. I don't know. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that they're doing it. It just comes off weird.
We don't need any more remakes unless it's gonna be like a whole new spin on the original, like a new spin, or just Heart Gold Soul Silver. Because that's the only game that matters. So.
Well, it will be interesting to see because maybe it will change it up a lot because it's on the Switch and it'll have like all this power that they never really had access to with a handheld. So, I mean, maybe they could make it a lot more interesting. That's pretty much all the news pieces I have. Was there anything anyone wanted to talk about? I guess Switch.
I read some news. Mario Kart 8, the most sold Wii U game, with 8 mil, I believe. New Super Mario Brothers.
That's insane. 8 million out of 13 million consoles.
Holy shoot.
Yeah, that's really, if you put that into perspective, that's insane. Like and that's not even including like how many people bought DLC, etc. So I mean, top off Nintendo for tricking everybody to buy that shit. But Kirby Cafe in Japan has closed down. Like it's not like it ran out of business. I think it's a seasonal thing that's kind of ran up. In my head, I wonder if Kingdom Hearts is going to be is going to make it to Nintendo Switch, since there's been 4 Kingdom Hearts games on Nintendo consoles, and yet everyone thinks Kingdom Hearts, then Kingdom Hearts 2. Meanwhile, Chain of Memories came out in 2004, and then GBA directly after Kingdom Hearts 1, and that's technically chronologically ordered correctly. I know Super Mario Run won't be entirely free to play. So I don't know. That game makes me mad, but at the same time, I'll probably have it downloaded because I'm trash and I love Nintendo.
My guess is it'll be like $3 per world or something like that.
Yeah, or be like, I don't know, some Go Faster or Don't Die or Gold Mushroom. You know what I mean? For $1.
I don't know. I think they'll sell it by world. I don't think that they're gonna have so much emphasis on like the
items.
Yeah,
I feel like there could be an item thing. I don't know.
Well, what I read is that they want to obviously have a free section that you can play, and then they just want it so that you pay once and then you just get the rest of it. So
okay.
It might be like have the first 3 levels, and then if you want to play like the rest of the game, it's like $6 or something.
Or just buy the app, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would make sense, and they can update it easily. I don't know, as long as it's not as what's the word I'm looking for something where somebody's attracted to something for so long and then I lose interest in 2 seconds, also known as Miitomo. But something like that. As long as it's it actually has a lore, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, to top off that list of Wii U games sold, New Super Mario Brothers U 5.5 mil, Super Mario 3D World 5.2. Nintendo Land Doi came in like every Wii U and came with controllers and stuff. Super Trash Brothers 4.99.
Says the guy who goes to tournaments for it.
Yeah, Trash 4 is trash. I hate that game. Splatoon 4.57. Super Mario Maker 3.73. New Super Luigi U is number 8 on the list with 2.74 million. That's insane. In itself, considering first off it's $15-20. Second off, it was DLC for a long time before it became box. And third off, it's literally just like a half of New Super Mario Bros. U game. Wind Waker HD 1.98 mil. Mario Party 10 topped off the top 10 for 1.94. And then 3DS. If you can't figure out the first 3, you guys want to guess? Because it's really easy to figure out.
Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and the other Fire Emblem.
Which Pokemon?
Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire I think did better than X and Y.
Alright, Eli, what's your guesses?
Sorry, I have zoned out.
3DS top 3 games sold.
Oh, top 3 games sold. Okay, number 1's going to be X and Y.
Okay.
Number 2 is going to be... number 2 will be Animal Crossing. Okay, Animal Crossing and Mario Kart 8 are going to be 2 and 3.
Oh, you mean 7, right?
Yeah, Mario Kart 7. Yeah.
Alright, well, Eli wins with only 1 right pick. Well, technically 1.5. Pokemon XY number one, 15.6 million
Dang it.
sold. Number two, Mario Kart 7 at 13.94. Second best Mario Kart game, my favorite Mario Kart game, Mario Kart 7, but not as good as Mario Kart
Yeah, I
8.
think I get 1.5 points for that.
Yeah, it's a total half. And then Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha
Oh my
Sapphire,
gosh.
13.18.
I thought one
Matt,
of the
you were
Fire Emblems would have been on there. I
Matt,
was
you
gonna
were so
say,
wrong,
I was
but
gonna
not a
say, I was gonna say the
well,
Pokemon
yeah,
remakes,
yeah.
then X and Y, and then Awakening, but
Yeah,
I was
well,
off.
see how people on the internet act like they're a majority and mean something because not one Fire Emblem game is in the top 10. So that's how pathetic that franchise is and overrated and internet vocal minority, which I hate. It somehow influences everything. To finish off the list, Super Mario 3D Land,
It's
10.98.
sorry. I
Yoshi
don't think we
Mario.
need to go through the rest of the list because I actually
All
have a
right, well,
topic now.
all right,
But
well,
that
I
was
was
still
gonna say.
interesting to bring up.
Yeah, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D is actually number 10, and the only game that is not like well, Smash Wii U. I mean, Smash 3DS doubled, the Wii U one. So I think the 3DS is a better made game, personal opinion. And then I was gonna say I'm surprised Tomodachi Life was actually up there.
Huh.
I mean, maybe that game sold a lot better in Japan, but Ocarina of Time in 3D is pretty nice being up there considering everyone wanted Majora's Mask, but. Once again, internet vocal minority means nothing, nor do they do anything to actually display what they should get, and we should not cater to them. That's all. That's what that list
Shh, Mike. Then
technically
they won't cater to me.
is. We need more Fire Emblems and Majora's Mask. And it's like, okay, then the game sells like 200,000, and then it's like, wow, that was a waste. By the way, Wii U is the worst selling Smash Brothers ever. Smash 64 sold more, 5.55 million.
That's pretty bad. But then again, well, the console sold like 50 million, I think,
But
right?
Smash 64 came out when N64 is dead, though.
Yeah, I guess. Still, like, it's
Yeah,
50 million compared to like 13.
yeah, that's true. I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Rabbit.
Or at least I think it's 50. I'm ballparking. But, so here's an interesting thing. How much do you think the Switch will cost or should cost?
Ooh.
Because to put into perspective, from what I think, a lot of people have said like as low as 250, which I don't think is going to happen, or as high as 350, which might be one of the bundles. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 300 because the tech seems to be similar to the Nvidia Shield, and they're working with Nvidia and blah blah blah, and they sold that for $300. So I could see
But
them
that
selling
console's
one.
3 years old.
Yeah, but I think they use like around the same like tech.
Yeah, but
Like,
I mean, if it came out for $300 3 years ago,
oh, okay,
I,
yeah, you're saying like it would be cheaper then.
I think it should be 250.
Yeah,
Like, if its specs are what the signs are pointing to,
yeah,
I think 250 is where it should be.
yeah.
What would 350? Because I was gonna say kind of somewhere around
Well, I
there.
said 250.
Oh, 250? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we want Nintendo to still be a business, so no. I mean, 250. I could see that if it comes with no game. To be honest, 350 with bundled game and the Pro controller.
Well, the other thing, I think that Nintendo needs to get this console to the masses and as fast as possible, so that it will diffuse in terms of like you come to my house, you play, you like it, you pick it up, it's only 250. I think that if you have a lower price, let's say it'll sell 30% more because of the lower price. I think that that's an investment that's worth making to sell it quicker, so that in the end, like exponentially talking, it'll reach more people.
Yeah.
I think it's unsafe to have it more expensive because it will limit the appeal factor.
Yeah. The only thing is they said they want it to still like make money for them. So I'm wondering
Yeah,
where
but I
they
mean,
go
I
with
don't
it.
think that that's out of the question. Those, um, I guess part of it also depends on how good that quality of that screen is. But if it matches up with the Nvidia Shield, which right now it's looking like it will, I mean, if that console sells for $300 when it came out, I think that it's more than reasonable right now to have the same tech for 250 or lower.
Yeah. Do you think it should the base unit should come with a game on it? Like one of these?
Yeah, I mean,
Perhaps. I don't even know though. I think it's okay to drop a game if it's gonna make your thing $50 cheaper. Also, Nvidia Shield right now, you can get at Best Buy for $200. So
Okay. Good to put in perspective.
yeah.
I think they should bundle into one of the games. I was listening to Kopai podcast earlier today. Um, I think it would be best to put in one of the enhanced ports, even if it's just like a digital version, just because you're going to have quite a few of your consumers who want to upgrade from the Wii U, like already own these games. So it's like, yeah, why am I'm not going to buy the same game again. Like, that's stupid. But it might be like an easy way to transition those people over. And I mean, like, with most of these games are several years old now, so I think it would be like a decent way to entice new people. It's like, yeah, you didn't play this before, but now it comes with the game, or now the system comes with the game instead, so you don't really have to pay for it. You can just kind of jump right in. Um, maybe it'll
Yeah,
interest more
actually, I
people.
could see that. I could see like the Splatoon remake getting
Yeah.
bundled in.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah. It wouldn't be that much. They probably have updated controls, a few new maps, maybe a new mode, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna be like, wow, we're slaving over development. And I'm
And they
not.
could probably, and honestly, they could probably announce Splatoon 2 like a year later.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, most of these enhanced ports aren't going to really add much content to it anyway, so it's not like they'd be eating a lot of their money. Like, let's say Mario Kart 8, they sold quite a few copies, and they sold DLC. I'm sure the extra money they made from that would have paid off for, like, this extra content they're making. So they, like, at least broke even, if not came ahead, most likely. So, like, bundling that in wouldn't really hurt them. I don't think they're gonna bundle in Zelda unless they, like, charge more for it, because, I mean, they haven't sold that game. They want to make money off of that for sure. But, like, packing in one of the older games, it's like, I think that's a pretty easy way to get people into it. And I thought about Splatoon being bundled in, but I think Mario Kart 8 is probably the best just because it's probably the one game where you can actually play like multiplayer with the sideways controllers, because I think Splatoon, you need a few more buttons, because there's the shoulder buttons, the two face buttons at least. I forget. I think there's a couple of more. Whereas Mario Kart is just like gas brake, hard turn or whatever, hand brake, whatever. So that's probably the best choice, I think. Because honestly,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not gonna
agree.
I'm not gonna pay for enhanced ports again. Like, I'm not paying $60 for this stuff. Like, I've already played
But
it for the most part, so like I doubt you're gonna add that much more that I'll be interested to buy it again.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like apparently, like a lot of people like Mario Kart 8. Maybe they would want to rebuy it. I mean, I don't think
Well,
Nintendo should just put the same game out. But
I'm sure a
are they
lot of
doing
people
that?
will buy
But
it, but
people missed out on Splatoon. You know what I mean? Like they know of it, and some of them played it, but not everyone really bought it or played past like its demo, or even didn't even play the demo. So I feel like it could be a good chance to reintroduce something they want to make bigger. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think that's basically why they're bringing these ports over, because they're like, they did well on there, but they could do better. So is it like Mario Kart 8, Splatoon, almost guaranteed Smash Brothers, and maybe Mario Maker, if they can get that to work, are probably going to be like the four main games they bring over. Because all of them have like communities I'm sure they don't want to die on the Wii U. Whereas all the single player games, like, they're not going to give a crap about that, but
Yeah.
they probably want these communities to live on. I don't think there's many other games that have online to them on the Wii U that they own. But I think that's about it. Unless you guys had any other things you wanted to bring up.
Nah, I'm good.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't remember anything of note either.
Alright, so I guess we'll end it there for this week. A bit shorter, but there's not much, not even rumors. As soon as the Switch comes out, there's like rumors are dead. The next day. You can catch me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I put out a new video, so go check that out. And Eli, where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter at Paul Salon, and then my rating at Nintendo Enthusiast or Enthusiast.gg.
Cool. And Mike, where can people find you?
Hi guys.
Because we certainly can't find you. You're never on the podcast.
I do what I want.
Rebel.
Find me at Twitter at TroyFullMuster, or find me at YouTube at Gaming Night Live. Even though I'm on an October break. October's obviously over, so I'll be back.
Cool. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on basically everywhere on the internet. We'll see you next time and leave gaming to Nintendo.